Hello, my name is Michael Fakhri, and I am the UN Special Rapporteur on the Right to Food. I want to thank the CFS Secretariat for allowing me to present to you this video. Due to the time difference, I'm unable to participate live or in person, but Paolo De Meo from my team is present in person during these negotiations. I think it's very helpful to start the process by reflecting on what is the purpose of these policy recommendations on data. Unlike a topic like gender empowerment, the purpose before us today is debatable. Now, there is one approach that frames the purpose of these policy recommendations to be about strengthening the capacities of actors involved in the collection, analysis, dissemination, and use of food security and nutrition data. Trying to make data collection and analysis a priority suggests that better data collection and analysis inherently improves people's lives. But that's like presenting a solution without a clear problem. Sure, better data can improve farming techniques and improve supply chains, but that is only true if a large number of preconditions are in place. So this leads me to my second point. For data to actually serve people's needs, there first must be a clear system of governance in place. We are in the midst of a data and digitalization revolution. This is led by private companies that are turning more and more aspects of everyday life into data, and then that data is monetized. Today, more and more value is generated not from actual productive work or the making of real things, but is created by digitizing every aspect of life and then buying and selling those data units. Data has become one of the most valuable things today. Social media is a good example of what is wrong with the current system. The promise was that social media will create community and enhance people's ability to connect with each other. And in some ways it has, but it's also made companies like Facebook, Google, and Microsoft richer at the expense of people's privacy. Do not forget that Facebook was recently fined 1.2 billion euros by the EU privacy regime. Promoting data collection and analysis without a robust governance regime is like inviting people into the privacy of your home, into your intimate space, and then letting these strangers sell everything off. If developing countries allow companies to collect and use data from their country and they do not already have in place a robust system of governance, this will enable a modern form of imperial plunder. Today, Facebook, Google, and Microsoft and other companies are more powerful than many governments because member states do not have adequate data governance regimes. These companies will promise governments a future filled with flourishing food systems and economic growth, but countries cannot govern based on private sector promises. The only way a country can ensure that data is collected and used in a way that actually benefits people and doesn't line the pockets of tech companies is with adequate governance regimes. So we should not talk about the data gap, we should talk about the governance gap. Governance requires detailed answers to the following questions. Who exactly will collect and analyze the data? How will they do it? What mechanisms of accountability will be in place? And who will the analysis primarily serve? My third and final point is that I think the concern is not just about governance, but it's also about protecting people and governments from harm. Data collection and analysis and digital technology more broadly runs a high risk of reinforcing racist, sexist, and other types of stereotypes. In other words, the increased use of data and reliance on digital technology almost always leads to discrimination and intersectional harm, unless there are clear safeguards. This is a well-established fact and well recognized in human rights law and practice. Data collection and analysis is never neutral. It's always based on certain assumptions made by people and programmers. This means that for the policy recommendations to be actually helpful in eliminating hunger and malnutrition, there must be clear reliance on human rights instruments. Any qualifications that are made to human rights instruments will only benefit the technology companies and harm developing countries and people. The human rights risks around data are so high that any qualifications made to human rights instruments will raise the risk of the CFS policy recommendations on data to violate the right to food. If a member state wants to qualify or water down human rights language in these negotiations, they will need to explain how is it that weak human rights language will protect people from discrimination and intersectional oppression. In sum, let us make sure these policy recommendations focus on data governance and on protecting people from harm. Otherwise, these negotiations will only serve the rich tech companies and not member states or people. I wish us all luck in these negotiations. Thank you very much.